Hello, everyone out there in Zombieland. It is Rob Succhetto with another Robcast, Revenge of the Nerd movie review. Now, this time, I am going to do something a little different. I'm actually going to review two movies, it's kind of interesting because I don't know anyone who does this. I'm sure there's a million people who do this out there. In movie review land, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically do what is, I'm going to review a movie that's basically like the bane of everyone's existence, and that is the reboot or the redo or the reimagining of a classic film. So I'm going to review the original, and I'm going to review the reboot or the whatever it is. Like if it's like a long awaited sequel or like a reboot entirely or a reimagining or whatever, I'm going to review both movies. Having been around for a long time and been an avid movie buff for a long time, I've watched a lot of films, and I've been around long enough to see the reboots of those films, which have come out, in the last, 10 plus years. Having seen the original, having seen the new ones, I think I'm in a pretty good position to review them. And you know what? I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not entirely opposed to a reboot or a reimagining of a classic film or concept or idea. A lot of people really shit on the reboots, and I'm like, yeah, man. Like, I love cover songs. I'm not saying that I love all cover songs or all reboots, but like I don't mind the different vision of someone else doing it. You still have the original to enjoy. Like, I don't know why people get so pissed off. Yeah, okay, there's no ideas in Hollywood. I get it, or they just want to retread the same stuff. I understand that, but let's face it, like. Some movies are actually better with the reboot because technology has caught up with possibly some of the grand concepts that they weren't able to do in, say, the 80s or 70s or whatever. So I'm not entirely opposed to it. I look forward to seeing someone else's idea or a different director's vision or maybe an updated version of a classic concept. So the movie I'm going to do today, or the movies, the absolute classics, Evil Dead and Evil Dead, the reboot or the reimagining. So, obviously I'm going to start out with Evil Dead, Sam Raimi's sort of debut in terms of, doing something that was like, geared to wider audiences. So it is like, it is one of those indelible classics that if you're a horror fan, you have to have seen this. If you haven't, I'm gonna obviously spoil it if I have to spoil it, I will. I'm not going to hold anything back from this. Evil Dead is such a difficult movie to even categorize. It is definitely a horror movie. It has the five I think people in a cabin in the woods, which cabin in the woods was sort of a riff on the Evil Dead model. It's very similar to many horror movie tropes in the sense that there's a few people sort of in this cabin out in the woods and away from people, and they sort of have to deal with horror or themselves or whatever, like Cabin Fever. There's been so many sort of movies like that, so this was kind of, I don't know if it was the very first, but it definitely was an incredible film. Again, demonic possession, sort of zombie-like characters turn into sort of demonic zombie things, stuff like that. It's got humor. It's got like real genuine scares. Like you cannot deny the fact that the scares are definitely there. The pencil in the ankle and the card reading thing and all that stuff. There's like so many cool scenes and set pieces and stuff like that really set this movie apart from other films, like horror films too. Just that feeling of like, I think a lot of modern movies, I think one of the biggest problem with modern movies is that, sets are created, or sets are CGI, or sets are sort of like, predetermined, like on a sound stage or whatever, and it feels fake. Like I love those movies where it almost seems like it's on location at this place they found. And the place was like that. So it wasn't like they had to do tons of set dressing or anything like that. It was more like it was already like that. It was already moldy, dusty, gross, whatever, or old, rustic, rough-hewn, whatever, what have you. This movie was definitely very much like that. It had a very, very low budget, of course, and a lot of obviously the effects are practical effects. There was no CGI back then, clearly to do the effects. This was like, I don't know the date of when it was done, but I'm thinking early 80s? I don't know. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, 1979? Okay, the movie was released in 82. That's what I thought. Yeah, I thought it was an 80s film. So early 80s, man. There was no computers weren't even invented back then. For the purposes of filmmaking, anyway. So or very little. So if any. I don't want to get all Trump-like and go, yes, that was the first time that was ever done. Not a lot of people know that. No, I don't know. So I'm not going to say there was any kind of computer-generated anything back then. So I really don't think so. So, having said that, Evil Dead is a must-see. It is, Bruce Campbell is such a standout. Even to this day, he's still, Ash and the Evil Dead show is sort of like a thing. I don't think it's a thing anymore. I think it's canceled now. But even to this day, Bruce Campbell has been sort of, I don't want to say milking it in terms of his character, but yeah, he's milking it. And you know what? It's great because he is an iconic horror figure from that Evil Dead franchise. That was the first of 3 movies, obviously, Evil Dead 2 and then Army of Darkness. So he became an incredibly almost Jack Tripper-ish horror sort of character. So fantastic movie. You have to see it. It's just amazing. It still stands up to this day, even though it is dated in terms of like looking at the effects and how it's shot and lit and everything. It's a low budget film. It's a low budget horror movie. So you get what you pay for, but it pays off in spades. I think you get more than what you pay for it, to be honest. It is definitely bewildering, incredible, fascinating, scary, funny, just incredible movie to watch. There's nothing really like it. It's very hard to critique because you can't really compare it to anything else, except for the remake. Now, the remake, I think everyone was scared, really scared, not of the movie, but of the fact that they were going to reboot the movie, or redo the movie, or reimagine the original movie. So, this was, I think when they announced this officially, it was already being panned because diehard freaks of the original, movie were like, fuck you, you don't destroy my childhood and don't destroy my memories of the fucking movie and all this shit. And people were fucking pissed. But people never wait until they actually see the thing. They sort of just get incendiary immediately when they find out one of their classic, memories are being destroyed. But like, dudes, like the original movie exists. This doesn't take the place of historically that movie. This is just another version of it. And I have to say, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It was a movie that for sure could not capture the magic or the spontaneity or the organic feel of the original, and it didn't try to. It tried to be something on its own, which was straight horror. Like, it was terrifying and gory. Like, this movie basically took the idea of the original and turned it into like a splatterfest, very scary, almost borderline body horror film. Like, buckets of blood, which is, Rami's, so I'm sure Rami was like very pleased with this. I did not read about what Rami's reaction was, but I think Ted Rami, his brother, had something to do with this production-wise, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I'm not here to sort of give you details into the backstory of everything. I have not read the book about whatever movie I'm going to be doing, so it's not like this is going to be a three-way dance where I'm going, okay, the book, then the first, then this movie. No, this is just a straight, is it good? And I'm telling you, it is fantastic. I almost encourage people to watch both, like back to back, because it's quite an experience. Seeing both movies back to back, they're fantastic films in their own right, and I think that the new one should be appreciated for what it is, which is a really gory, almost like cringe-worthy in a good way film. There's like parts that there's the razor blade tongue part and the nail gun thing, and there's so many great again set pieces that are fantastic. There's the turkey, the automatic turkey knife and everything to the arm and all that stuff. Very different from the first one, like very different in tone, in basically everything except for the fact that there's just buckets of blood. So there is my review on both. Like I said, I am not opposed to remakes or reboots, guys. Like, I'm just not one of those guys, man. I get it. Like, I get the fact that this is gonna keep happening forever and ever and ever. There are tons of movies being made that aren't reboots and redos and all that stuff too, by the way. So, you don't have to like shit on every reboot that comes out. It's just gonna be a different take. And you don't have to like it, but don't feel that you have to shit on it like immediately, because that movie that you enjoyed when you originally saw it is still there. You know what I mean? So I don't know why people get so pissed off or so incensed when they hear about this. So anyway, that is my review. I hope you enjoyed this. You're probably seeing this maybe on YouTube, but I'm gonna upload it on YouTube. I don't know how long my YouTube channel is gonna stick around. YouTube's going through some changes. This will actually be on my Patreon too, so more content, guys, on my Patreon. Throw me $1 a month, man. Like, seriously, I add new zombie drawings on there every single day. The link is going to be in the description in the bottom. Like the video, subscribe to my channel. Join my Patreon page, guys. Like, seriously, new zombie drawings every single day. I'm going to be doing more content and adding it to there. Like, it's such a great deal. Like, no one on earth adds a new zombie drawing to the thing every day. It's like Inktober, but every single day of my life, forever and ever. There's thousands of drawings on there every day. There's incredible stuff going up on there every day. So please check it out. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to do another one very soon. I'm sorry I had to take such a long break. I'm incredibly busy because of the Christmas season. I'm going to cut this off now. So I've talked enough. I will see you again very soon. Okay? Take care. I love you guys. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.